On this episode of Whisk, we're going to make my favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe, which happens to be my mom's cookie recipe. So she passed this recipe down to me in 2011, and I've been using it ever since. It's a pretty basic brown cookie recipe, and I've been able to modify it for lots of different types of cookies. But today we're just going to focus on the classic chocolate chip. So I already have all my ingredients out and pre-measured, and I'll go through them as we get started. I'm going to go ahead and cream my butters and my sugars together. So I have 1 stick of unsalted room temperature butter, and I have a half a stick of butter flavored Crisco. So we're going to go ahead and put those right into our mixer. And then I have 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar. I have 1/4 of a cup of regular old granulated white sugar. And that's going to get us going. And cream these together until they're light and fluffy. About halfway through the creaming, go ahead and scrape down the sides of your bowl. Okay, that looks about right. So once it looks kind of pale in color and it looks nice and fluffy, you're there. So the next thing that I'm going to add is I'm going to add 2 eggs at room temperature. Plop those right in and incorporate those into my butters and my sugars. Now that our eggs and our butter and sugars are all mixed together, we're gonna go ahead and add 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. And then the secret ingredient, which is a pack of instant vanilla pudding. It gives the cookie a really nice texture. It keeps it soft and chewy in the middle and crispy on the outside. Okay, now we're ready to add our dry ingredients. So I'm gonna slowly add that to our wet mixture, and I've scraped down the sides of my bowl to make sure everything gets incorporated. I'm gonna reserve a little bit of my dry mixture because I'm gonna use this to coat my chocolate chips and my walnuts, and that will prevent them from sinking to the bottom of my cookie dough batter. So we're gonna mix this together until it's just incorporated. You don't ever want to overmix cookie dough or your cookies could come out tough. So that looks about good. So I'm going to lift that up. Go ahead and scrape my cookie dough off my blade. Now we're going to coat our chocolate chips and our walnuts in that reserved dry mixture. And we're just going to kind of give it a quick stir. This will prevent the walnuts and the chocolate chips from sinking to the bottom of the cookie, and it'll also help that they're evenly distributed throughout the cookie dough. So we're just going to toss that in there. And again, we're only going to mix it until it's just incorporated. And that'll do it. And now we're ready to scoop and bake. My oven's preheated at 375 degrees, and they're gonna bake for about anywhere from 12 to 14 minutes. So I've got my baking sheet here, and you could use parchment paper, and today I'm choosing to use a nonstick Silpat. So I'm gonna lay that down on there. I've got my cookie scoop, and we're going to scoop these into about 1-inch balls. Okay, our cookies are ready to come out of the oven. So our first batch of cookies is out of the oven. I gave it about a minute or so to kind of cool on the baking sheet before I transferred them to a cookie rack to cool completely. And they smell delicious, and they look nice and tall. Okay, and we're gonna get the next batch in the oven, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of the cookies. I think I'm going to have to taste test one. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Whisk. Happy baking, and I'm gonna have a snack now.